Vacationing in Greece was nothing shy of amazing. Experiencing the different islands was just breathtaking, and I loved sharing my journey on Instagram, so definitely make sure you're following me to get more bits of my journey. It has been so long since I've done a crochet braid tutorial, so this is going to be in a start to finish format where I feature my wash routine, how to pre-treat your hair before installation, giving you guys a super versatile braiding pattern, and just walking you through the steps so that you can slay. The boys and girls of Greece loved my hair, honey. Some people even tried to touch my hair, okay? Cue that Solange music, but definitely make sure that you guys keep on watching. You don't want to miss this slay. It is honestly impeccable. So for this style, I'm going to be using the Free Tress GOGO curl in 26 inches, and I use the colors TT27 and TT30. These packs are $6 a piece, which I purchased at my local beauty supply store. And before installing the hair, it is super important to pre-treat your hair. So I'm adding about a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar to lukewarm water, never hot water. And I'm also going to be adding in both shampoo and conditioner. Shampoo helps to break down any debris, any dirt, and conditioner also adds like a fatty, oily kind of layer to help further break down any other dirt, debris that may reside on the hair. But make sure you guys are agitating your mixture to make sure that everything is evenly combined. And keep the ribbon that's placed on the center of the bundle to help keep the hair intact and neat during the washing process. Now lay all of your bundles into the water. Make sure that you submerge the hair and agitate the hair while in the water during this process so that everything is evenly coating each strand. Now I highly recommend soaking the hair overnight or a minimum of 4 hours before you repeat this process. Overnight is strongly recommended. And when you remove the hair, you want to do one final rinse because the water will have this little film on the top, which is that alkaline base, and you really want to work to remove that to avoid irritation. Now my braiding pattern is something serious. I have individual plaits along the perimeter on the left, right sides, as well as the nape, and there's this small to medium section right beside it. And what I like to do is braid this as a cornrow, but I'm going to start integrating sections of the individual plaits into the base of the cornrow. Now you're like, Pink, why are you doing this? Have you ever wanted to wear your crochet braids up, but you know your braiding pattern isn't as neat, so it's going to be very detectable? This is something that I wanted to try, and I honestly love how I did it. I'll have more information on a tutorial that goes more in depth linked in the card section as well as the description box. So definitely make sure you check it out so you can get better understanding and a more in-depth visual demonstration. Now my hair has gotten considerably longer, and for this I'm able to take the length of my braids and crochet them through the base of other cornrows. Now what this helps to do is to disguise gaps, and it makes it so that you're kind of like closing in this space, and plus you're tucking your hair. So in a protective style, this is definitely recommended so that you keep the hair close to the moisture source to avoid it from drying out, especially if you're going to be swimming, you know, dipping your hair in water, maybe co-washing during the process because you're wearing this hair for a longer period of time. So if you have shorter hair, I highly recommend adding extensions so that you can do this step to further protect your hair. Now, you see that kitchen? It's time to clean up the kitchen. This is something I have been waiting to show you guys, a more updated version, because this is really important when you're wearing your hair up. You want a super neat and polished look. So I like to position this satin scarf right above my nape, not too high up to where I'm trimming away too much hair. And I like to give myself a little bit of a shape up. Now, this electronic kind of shaving machine, whatever you call this is everything. I purchased it from Amazon. I'll have it linked in the description box. Sis, everything. And when you're cleaning up the hair, after you do this, please apply some alcohol or witch hazel with tea tree oil, which is an antiseptic, which is going to help to clean the area, cleanse it, and keep the pH balance. Now this is my braiding pattern. Very simple, nothing too, intricate. Struggle Braid Gang always representing because the parts are crooked, you already know. But I did want to point out these two sections toward the front that are joined, which is going to make it a lot easier when creating fullness of the widest part of the head. Now I'm going to insert the latch hook through one of the individual plaits at the nape, and I'm going to secure the hair with anywhere from 5 to 7 knots. With this particular hair, because it is a bit of a loose curl, it's not thick or like highly dense, you want to secure it as neat as possible and create a strong anchor so that it does not unravel. And with each piece that you take out, you can separate it anywhere from 2 to 3 times. It's honestly up to your preference, but sometimes the more that you separate the hair into smaller pieces, you create more frizz. So figure out what works for you. And one of the things about pre-soaking and pre-treating your hair is that you're softening the hair so it's easier to separate, but it can also make it a lot easier to create frizz. Now, you guys have seen me do textures much like this, so it's the same kind of routine. I didn't want to be incredibly repetitive. I wanted to introduce new concepts so that you guys can take what I've previously shown and kind of perfect it and make it work for you. And around the individual plaits, I'm crocheting anywhere from 1 to 3 pieces of hair, but I don't want to overcrowd these sections because they're not like a cornrow. So the foundation is not as sturdy and it can create a little bit more tension in those areas. So be careful. Now this is close to about 1 pack of hair, the color TT30. And I only use this color at the back, which is all for a reason and very intentional. So you guys see, I went a long way with just 1 pack of hair, which I love. It's super affordable. And if you were to cut this hair in half, you would definitely use less than 4 packs of hair because a little goes a long way. But as you guys know, as you start to move towards the crown, you have to be very strategic about using the brick layering method and how you stagger the knots so that you create fullness. This is really, really important because with this kind of braiding pattern, if you have gaps between the braids that are super visible, you want to make sure that you're creating enough density to disguise those gaps. As we move further into the tutorial, I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks on how to do just that. But you guys will see, I typically like to crochet in like a straight line or as straight as possible so that I'm creating even density across each layer of knots. So far, we're looking really good. I like it. Now I'm going to start integrating the color TT27. This is such a beautiful color. This is my predominant color. And sis, this looks gorgeous on melanin skin. Like sis, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Now you're probably wondering, how long does a style like this take? I would say consider, outside of doing the braiding pattern, give it about 2 to 3 hours. Let's be realistic, but this is something that I knew was going to go through a lot as far as me being on vacation. So I wanted to make sure it was 100, sis. Like it had to be bomb. So here I'm going to be talking about how to create the illusion of more density as we move closer to the crown. The crown is the widest part of the head. I've talked about this so much, and it's so important to stagger your parts, but be more strategic so that you create the desired volume in the areas that matter. So for example, on the larger cornrows, I would push the latch hook through the left side of the braid. So not the center. I'm not going under the base of the braid. I'm focusing it on the left side of the braid. And then I'm going to create a knot on the right side. I hope that makes sense. It's basically a technique where you're creating a knot on both the left and right sides of a braid. You're not dragging that latch hook underneath the cornrow. You're putting it onto one side, concentrating it so that the knot is fixed on either opposite end of the braid. It just gives you more density. If you guys want me to cover that technique, definitely let me know in the comment section below so that I can do a video giving you more details on how to slay and just be a little bit more strategic about your installs so you get the best look, because I know the girls do not like when you can see the gaps, you know, and you possibly run out of hair because you haven't spaced it correctly. Now here I'm working towards the front. Now I will say I was getting a little bit lazy and spacing the knots a little bit further apart, and so I had to make up for that in the end. Now I didn't really focus on doing too much of the knotless method. It's not really necessary. A lot of you guys thought that I was wearing micro braids, so that's a testament to how neat this looks even without focusing too much on the knotless method, though you can definitely do it. And I will link a video showing you guys how I do it with a braided base like this. Now the front typically takes the most time because you have to make sure that it's as full as you'd like. I like my hair to be very heavy on the right side and a little bit less in density on the left side. Now, because I got a little bit lazy, I definitely had to go in and crochet more hair to disguise this area. I didn't want a defined part, so I basically started crocheting knots and laying the hair in the opposite direction. So I'm laying it more towards the left side of my head so that I can create that fullness and also begin to cover that gap. I hope that makes sense. This is a tip and trick that I highly recommend. Now, if you guys want to see like my installation aftercare, I'll link a video, but I didn't really create an ending. But sis, this hair is everything. I love it. I definitely think that pre-treating the hair helps, you know, salvage the hair itself. It helps to make it so that it doesn't have like that weird smell over time. And if you do wish to wash it, it's a lot easier. It's better for a sensitive scalp. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, join the family. Let me know when you do so I can give you a nice warm welcome. And I appreciate you so much for tuning in.